right, folks, Joe Downey here, sitting alongside Brad Faxon, extremely excited to show you the next edition of drone footage we have of the match at Old Trail. We're going to start with the practice fields, which is our expansive short game area, the old site of the old range here at Old Trail. And Brad, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at as we fly over, some of the thoughts that have been put into this. You're going to hit anything from a chip shot to, 150-yard shot on this short game area.
Well, it's going to be incredible for the members, the ability to come out here and practice all those short game shots that you find in a round of golf, and you won't know what to do when you first come out here. It's a big space, like you said, the old practice fields, where both the first and the second nines have a 16th A and a 7th A hole that come in there, so you can use those greens sometimes to practice on as well. So essentially you got a 20-hole golf course with an incredible amount of acreage to practice putting, chipping, bunker play, 130 or 40 or 50-yard iron shots into targets. You're going to have the ability to practice out of tightly mown areas, out of some rough, and it's really going to separate Jonathan's Landing and Old Trail from almost any other facility in this area.
And here we are taking a look at the practice putting course, we'll call it, and about 20,000 square feet, much more undulated than our practice green that's adjacent to the first tees. Something really fun that can carry over a bet from your 18th hole, or something just to utilize after a round of golf to hang out a little bit longer at Old Trail. But you can see on the left side of your screen here, this massive putting green incorporated into the short game area.
It's incredible, Joe. Lots of undulations in there. There'll be some fun afternoons there, having some matches with your friends. And here we'll take a look at as the grow end matures. Here's the first fairway. You see the mounding separating 1 and 18. That's starting to come in. You're going to see a lot of different things out at Old Trail that you haven't seen before. This is about the landing area for the good players. You got to thread the needle here between these bunkers. And again, an exciting second shot. Where do you go here? Do you keep it short of these bunkers? Do you go to the right? Do you try and carry them and run them up to the green? And you can see this green here, Brad Nelson has punched, aerated, sanded, and getting it ready for the opening. What an opening hole, and what an opening 2 holes, Joe. 2 par 5s, you never see that. So it's a great talking point when you come out here to play for the first time. Lots of choices here for where you can tee off to make this tee shot appropriate for your level of golf. Again, this is called a cape hole. Bends like Cape Cod does, water's on the inside of the dog leg. You got to avoid that really treacherous bunker there on the left, Joe. And I know you've hit a tee shot off this hole.
Yeah, if I actually hit a second shot just to gauge how far you'd be looking, whether you're laying up or have the chance to go for it. Slightly elevated green, fairly shallow from front to back, but a great opportunity 5-5 to start.
Exactly. When we come and look at 3 here, you're going to see one of the features of any of the Hans golf courses is the ability to walk. And how easy it is to go from green to the next tee. And the philosophy that both Gil Hanse and Jim Wagner try to provide is interesting golf. And interesting golf means by good-looking holes, long views, and choices off the tee. What am I going to do? It's not going to be automatically just pull a driver out for the sake of pulling a driver out with some sort of thought. This third green has a punch bowl where you can hit almost all around the edge of the green and have it roll back to the hole. 4th hole, medium length par 3 that can play as little as 100 yards. If you go to the back tee and have that whole location back of this really, really narrow green, you can play 175 or 80 yard shots surrounded by some deep bunkering. And the wind is going to be a huge factor out here. And if we have a prevailing wind like we normally do off the water, this 5th hole, there's going to be the only boundary really on the golf course to the player's right. You're going to be able to carry over that bunker you see on the right side. There'll be some Pinehurst-looking waste area. Generally a pretty wide fairway, but how far do you want to hit it up here to this bunker in the middle of the fairway? Do you want to keep it left of it, right of it, short of it, challenge it to the right where the boundary allows you to have a better angle? And now we move to some of the hardest of the golf course. This 6th hole, long par 4, it actually feels uphill, which is
slightly,
rare,
yes.
Yeah, rare to feel in Florida. Between these two trees is the center of the fairway. You got some cross bunkers about 30 to 40 yards short of this green, and this will be into the prevailing breeze. A lot of times you're going to have to make a choice. Do I really want to go for this green or not? I could lay it up short or left and get a better angle in for a pitch shot, or if you hit a good drive, this is one of the bigger greens on the golf course, pitching towards the golfer. Fantastic hole, and one of the more difficult ones in the course. Now, this 7th hole, you're going to go over really this huge bunker. It looks like a little bit of like a bent guitar here, walking path right through the middle, which is neat. A waste area to the right, a sandy waste area that'll grow in and again have that sort of Pinehurst-y look. And this green really sloped back to front. There's a big ridge, you can see part of it in the middle right side of the green there that slopes away. And downwind, you're going to have to decide what kind of shot you want to hit off the tee to make an easier second shot. Now you go back parallel to number 7, number 8. Got some water again on the right. You got to decide how far left do I want to be, because the farther left I go, now those bunkers up by the green, that big grouping of bunkers on the left, hides the green. If you pull your tee shot, or if you go too far, you got trees, bunkers, and a green that slopes from left to right. It'll be challenging. Tee shot premium of importance there on this short par 4. And now 9. I mean, every golf course architect wants to make a great short par 3. And for the less skilled golfer, these ribbon tees will wind over to the left, so even the beginner golfer won't have much of a carry to get it onto this very elevated, very severely sloped green from back to front, bunkered everywhere. What a hole. Number 10, one of the only holes on the golf course, Joe, with a chute, right? You've got trees on both sides.
Right.
You
Pretty
gotta thread the needle.
Pretty accurate to what our old number 10 tee was and kind of the shape of the hole.
Exactly.
But also a hole you haven't seen yet, so we're going to get into part of the golf course where we haven't showcased in our footage so far. So par 5 to start your back 9. Really exciting, another opportunity to get your 9 started for hopefully what could be a 5 or a 4 or maybe even a 3 on this shorter hole.
Yeah, it's a shorter par 5 downwind primarily, but if it comes back against the wind, it'll be a tougher tee shot, a tougher layup, and generally a green that's right on grade. And we come back to the back tee on 11, and all of a sudden you've got a lengthy par 3, over 200 yards, cavernous bunker in front. Lots of undulation in this green, lots of portions of this green, so premium on accuracy off the tee. And when we start talking about favorite holes, Joe, there's a stretch of this back 9 where I just love. Number 12 is a dogleg right. It's interesting, there's some bunkers there to aim off on the left that give you a target, and then there's some bunkers you can't see from the tee. You've got to get a glimpse of them right about now that you have to carry. It's a little bit like playing at St. Andrews on the 12th hole there. Big green here, angles from left to right. You see that green is growing in a little bit from some sprig. See how big the green is, more bunkering there. I just think that hole looks spectacular.
I agree.
Yep. Now 13, we're talking about choice and interest. This is a drivable par 4, somewhere about 300 yards from the back tee. As the tee moves around there, you see the cart path, the walking path. The tees will be all the way up there, and you have these bunkers. Do I want to be short of them, right of them, left of them, over them, in a green that won't be receptive to a driver if it lands on it, but can you run it up? There's even a couple pin placements. Maybe we'd see a hole-in-one on a par 4. Now you talk about tough holes.
This is it.
From way back, this is 220 plus, 230 plus. As the tees move forward and to the right, it opens up the angle of this green. You got to somehow find out, am I going to use the ground and let it run up? Am I going to fly it all the way there? And again, another deep green. Jim Wagner made this thing look spectacular. Again, choice and interesting right off the bat. And Joe, we were talking about 15. This tee shot over the wetlands area.
The principal's nose, right?
Yeah, we got a principal's nose. You got 3 bunkers here that you're going to carry or go to the left of. One of the last holes that's going to be seeded to get all the traffic off the golf course. And the principal nose concept, those 4 bunkers you see in the middle of the fairway, came from 16 at St. Andrews. And if you want to get the best approach, you got to challenge those. You go to the right of them so you can open up to this green. And again, Small green tilted towards the player against the wind. If you miss this green, those are deep bunkers. Don't go over. Sure, bogey. And now 16. You said this to me before, Joe. It's interesting to see the big difference between the second hole on the right, where it's really mature. You could actually play it now, and the shape of this green. What did you call it?
It's like a arrowhead or like a leaf, but very narrow in the back. Some interesting pin locations you can end up with on that long par 3.
Yeah, probably a hole you'll be able to bounce the ball up onto. And then 17, we're talking about favorite holes. You said this was one of yours again. The carry, you see the tee moves up and to the right for the players, close to the 16th green, and you have to avoid that big bunker on the left. You see that big bunker from 2 on the left as well. You've got a creek or ditch that comes out here, and it's kind of jagged edged and moves all around here and makes you think off the tee. Again, this hole normally will play into the wind. Big green here. If you miss it left in those bunkers, now you're pitching out towards the water. And there's a big kind of ridge here, so if you're putting from the left side to that right hole location, it looks like you might or almost could putt it in the water. So premium on driving, iron play, and then of course on putting. So we move to the 18th hole, which is going to be a really strong finishing hole, par 4. Wind will most of the time be off the player's left. You're going to have to try and figure out, do I try and carry this bunker? Do I try and stay short of it? Do I hit to the right of it? The farther right you go, this longer second shot into another elevated green. You're going to walk away from this hole with a par. You'll be really happy if you make a 4. That'll make that nice little adult beverage feel really good, taste really good when you're done. What a sensational way to finish right where you started. These 18 holes at Old Trail are going to be unlike any other golf course in the area.